Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and it's an absolute pleasure to be here. I thank the World Psychiatric Association and Dr. Afzal Javed, Dr. Daria, and his team for allowing me to present here on COVID-19 and mental health, lessons in grit and resilience from Mumbai. What I am going to highlight today is primarily going to be stories of people and their personal experiences. In Mumbai, ever since the COVID-19 in practice throughout, and I have been speaking to people, meeting people, talking to people from different walks of life. And one of the things that I have seen is that there are a lot of people who have been through this pandemic, uh, not worrying about their mental health, not worrying about their physical health, just so that people might benefit from their being around. And I'm going to talk today as a psychiatrist because we need to move away from neurobiology of psychiatry, which concerns human beings and their personal experiences. So what I'm going to highlight is some experiences with personal people, which I think have touched my hearts, and I'm very sure that they would touch yours as well. So the first group of people that I'm going to touch upon is to my left. Those are the frontline medical health workers who are working so hard in this pandemic. These are doctors. These are also human beings who are doctors. So they have emotions, but they've been working day and night tirelessly, not worrying about their own physical health. They've been away from their family members. They've been away from their loved ones, working up to 18 hours a day with lack of sleep. They get tearful, they get emotional, they feel a little upset, they feel a little anxious, and we have to be there for their mental health and help them. We also have to be there to see that their mental health is paramount, because it's only when they are fine will the people who are under their care be fine. So our first job as mental health professionals is to look after the mental health of our fellow colleagues and see that their mental health is maintained. The second group of people that are very important are our daily workers and our essential workers who are doing so much for us. One of the things I want to highlight in Bombay is that many of the milkmen did not quit working during the pandemic. Milk is a very important source of our food, and milk is needed for tea, for cooking, for multiple other purposes, and a lot of people look forward to their fresh milk in the morning. And in Mumbai, we've had milkmen who've been working through the pandemic without worrying, without bothering, without caring about their own personal health, going house to house. Some societies have slammed the doors on them, but they've still seen that via watchmen in that society, they deliver what is essential to the people. So I think a big salute goes out to these people, and they've been very positive while doing this. They've not let the negativity or the negative aspects of mental health and the trauma of COVID and the anxiety of COVID get to them, which I think is a big example of resilience and grit as we see. The third group is I want to talk about is the essential workers. That is the BMC, the Bombay Municipal Corporation, people who are sanitizing the streets, who are fumigating buildings, who are working tirelessly to see that other people do not contract COVID. These are people who have put their own lives on the risk. They could have easily gone back to their hometowns and stayed there and not bothered about us, but they have decided to remain in Mumbai and take care of us. So I think we should, as mental health professionals, also look at their mental health. And when you see them, there is a certain glint in their eyes. There is a certain desire to see that Mumbai is free of COVID. And I think that is why they are very, very important to us in this fight and in this pandemic. A huge group that is affected by the COVID pandemic are the children of Mumbai. For the first time, children have not been allowed to leave their houses. For the first time, they've not been allowed to meet their friends. For the first time, they've not been allowed to go down and play. And the school has come home. So we've had children who have had online schooling for 4 to 5 hours a day. They've had teachers teaching them. They've had homework assignments being submitted online. They've been meeting their friends online. So it's an entirely new world for them. The second group of children is the mental health of street children, which is very important because they're on the street. They are more prone now to commit crime because of the lack of livelihood. They are more prone to substance abuse because of the anxiety and frustration that sets in. So one needs to be very vigilant and take care of them in this pandemic, which I feel is another example. And they've survived doing odd jobs. My heart also goes out to all special children in Mumbai, and special children because they have lost out on not being able to go for therapy. They are not going to special schools. They've been restricted to a very small space. They've had lack of physical activity. They've had a cut in their doctor's visits. They've not been able to visit their speech therapists, their occupational therapists, their physiotherapists. It has also led to some deterioration in their socio-occupational functioning, and their mental health of many of them have deteriorated with behavioral issues and medications not being regular. The third group of children, the fourth group of children rather, which I'm going to highlight, is the children of migrant populations who had to go back to their villages and their hometowns, leaving Mumbai, and are missing school. Their schools have started online schooling, but these children probably have no access to the internet in their villages. If they have access to the internet, they don't have an extra gadget that they can use, and thereby they are deprived of schooling while all their friends are probably schooling here. So the mental health of children is very important in this pandemic, and we need to look at that as well. One of the areas where I think mental health has picked up is tele-mental health, and we are counseling more and more patients online. We are doing psychiatric consultations online. So one has to be very adept and aware of the fact that telepsychiatry is here. It is here to stay. People from all over India and all over the world are reaching out to us. But what is also very important is that we have to be trained and very well aware of the guidelines to follow when conducting these sessions. And we have to make sure that we do not land up with wrong diagnosis. We do not land up with treatments without proper examination if needed. So a physical consultation may be warranted in some patients, though in most cases, tele-mental health services can help. My heart also goes out to the mental health of warriors who've been helping bury and dispose bodies of patients who are COVID positive. They've been doing this work tirelessly ever since the pandemic started. There is a helpline number, you call them, they come, they take the body away and they dispose the body off. They've been burying probably thousands of bodies, and they're doing it with a lot of resilience and grit. And I think their mental health also is something that we need to look at. We have published 2 papers on critical issues on COVID-19 and psychiatric patients. The first paper, which was published in the British Journal of Psychiatry International, is on the issues in treating COVID-19 positive psychiatric patients, and particularly in low and middle income countries, because we don't have good COVID-19 psychiatric units here that are specifically made for positive patients. So this is one of the papers we have published. The second paper that we've looked at is psychological interventions in COVID-19, the challenges for low and middle income countries, which was published in the Asian Journal of Psychiatry. And this is a very important paper because it looks at the challenges for our country, the challenges of telepsychiatry, the challenges of diagnosing mental illness early, the challenges of medication, the challenges of meeting patients, the challenges of COVID positive psychiatric patients, the challenges of psychiatric patients who get COVID, the challenges that family members have to face, the challenges that probably geriatric patients have to face and children have to face and special populations have to face. So these are both papers which are very important. I just want to say that mental health is the next pandemic that we're probably going to see after the COVID pandemic. We're already seeing shades of it, and it's going to hit us before we even realize. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me and get in touch with me. I'll be very happy to answer them. I thank all of you for being there and giving me a patient hearing. Thank you.